Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Maniac podcast. This week in pro wrestling, and what an interesting week that it was in pro wrestling, from Monday Night Raw to AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage to WWE Smackdown. Some little news that went along the way, and first I want to say that the thoughts and prayers go to the WWE legend Daphne and her family, and tragic loss that we had this week, and really shows forth that, you know, everybody's life is worth value, and the real issue with mental health is out there. And if anybody needs help with mental health, please contact, on a serious note, please contact the various helplines that is there, and because your life is valued, and it's just such a tragic loss that we had. But anyway, let's move on to pro wrestling, and I want to get into Monday Night Raw. Now, Monday Night Raw was interesting to start off. They're really trying to build up Damien Priest, and he is the United States champion, and of course the babyface, and sort of off the heels of Bad Bunny, and he is now in a feud with Sheamus. He had an open challenge, and of course Sheamus, being the heel that he is, come down and open challenged him, and then surprisingly Drew McIntyre got into the mix, which I think that this is a good program for Drew McIntyre, and I will say, and along here some rumors along the way as we cover these programs, the rumors that Drew McIntyre is going to be drafted to Smackdown because of the new draft that's coming up in October. Of course, there's not been any confirmation on this, and I think that it would really be a mistake to do this. Monday Night Raw doesn't have very much star power on it, and I think that Drew McIntyre needs to stay a Monday Night Raw guy. I think that there needs to be other talent that goes to Monday Night Raw, of course. But I think that he needs a run with the U.S. title, and I know that we got Damien Priest, and you know, really trying to build him up right now. Perhaps I just don't think he has the charisma that there needs to be. I think it would be better for a long run with Drew McIntyre as the U.S. champion. The WrestleMania match, and I know that it's a long build towards then, and we're building towards WrestleMania. I think the WrestleMania match there for the United States Championship is between him and Sheamus, and I think it would be one hell of a match. And that's my thoughts on this. Of course, after this match, the three-way that ensued, which I really liked the opening segment that dealt with these three gentlemen. I don't think that there was really any necessary aspect to really throw RK Bro and Bobby Lashley in this, and we'll get to what happened with Bobby Lashley at the end of this program. But definitely, I mean, they set this up to start off the show, and then they saved the match for Bobby Lashley at the end of the show, the tag team match that him and MVP had against RK Bro. But it was so confusing to open up the show as many times as there is. There's so much confusion right now in the WWE in almost all the segments that they do, and I really didn't like this opening segment. I know that people want to see new stars built up. They want to see someone like Damien Priest, you know, to be built up into a star. I think that he really needs to be sort of a mysterious type individual, though. I mean, to me, I look at Damien Priest and I see more of an Undertaker type character, and instead of him out there smiling, it needs to be really, his character, in my opinion, needs to be sort of borderline good and bad, and not really either of the two. Definitely the anti-hero type of character. I think if he was built up in the right way, that he would not really even need to have a title on him. I don't know if the U.S. title is really going to elevate him or not. I mean, I know that he got the victory here over a Sheamus, which was good, but I'm just telling you from my point of view how I would be booking this, that Drew McIntyre needs to be the U.S. champion, and I think that really Damien Priest needs somebody with him, and sort of like a Paul Bearer type manager character, which Bad Bunny can fill this role, and if any celebrity that's out there could really have a stay in the WWE and carry over that momentum, it would probably be Bad Bunny. But I guess, he's got other things, other projects that he's doing. Too bad they didn't bring someone along with Bad Bunny when he come to try to go off with, stay with Damien Priest. It's not that Damien Priest isn't good on the microphone. It's just that, he's one of those characters that I think needs mystique. And it's a lack of direction again in the writing. And everything falls at the feet of Vince McMahon's fault, and you have to leave that there at his fault on this character and the way his character is portrayed. But it is really, really weird how this opened. Then we go to match, and I believe it ended the show, but I'm gonna go ahead because that wasn't the main story of the episode. We go to the end of the show, and we'll go to RK Bro versus Bobby Lashley, and I really didn't like this. I mean, Bobby Lashley has been built up as this monster guy, and it's been a decent build on Bobby Lashley, but I mean, Randy Orton hits an RKO on Bobby Lashley, and he just won on Bobby Lashley, and he's pinned. That is just like, it is, the WWE is 50-50 booking is just atrocious, and it falls at the feet of all of the I call them all the little chiefs that's in charge. Bruce Pritchard, and Dunn, and then at Vince McMahon. I mean, apparently Vince McMahon tore up all the plans for Monday Night Raw hours before the show, and it was another terrible episode. I mean, and in my opinion, I just like, okay, this is what we're going to get. We got RK Bro, and yeah, they need to continue their momentum. Now there's talk and rumors of Randy Orton having a program with Bobby Lashley. We don't need that. I don't think that story between Randy Orton and Riddle needs to play out. It needs to be separate from the WWE Championship. Let's build somebody up for that WWE Championship match instead of having all of this drama surrounding RK Bro, and which, it's its own nostalgia act. Raw originated from Oklahoma City. which I guess was okay. I didn't know it was from Oklahoma City, but too bad I didn't go up there and see it. But still, yeah, whatever. It just seemed like there's just always something missing with Monday Night Raw. And now and next match I want to talk about is Ria Ripley versus Shayna Basler. And Nia Jax come out with Ria Ripley, Nikki Ash come out. Nia Jax come out with Shayna Basler, rather, and Ria Ripley come out with Nikki Ash. Nia Jax, again, she attacked Nikki Ash outside of the ring, and then at the end of the match, she attacked Ria Ripley. Don't understand what the direction was going on this, because Shayna Basler got the loss. And again, here we have one of the most badass characters that has been built up, and she eats a pinfall. The heel eats the pinfall via Ria Ripley. And I'll talk about the women's division here in a minute. Then we had RK Truth and Akira Tozawa failed to get it was just a nostalgia act. It felt time. It was pathetic. We had the Viking Raiders versus Jinder Mahal and Veer, and the Viking Raiders won. If we're going to enter a program with them, the Viking Raiders really need to lose. I think that you have potential here. Some good chemistry between this. I think that Jinder Mahal doesn't need to venture into tag team wrestling. He needs to be sort of the manager of the two big guys, and I can't remember their name, that he is associated with. And again, I mean, and they should have got the win over the Viking Raiders, due to Jinder Mahal's interference. I think that it would got heat. It would have, built up a good program with him, instead of the Viking Raiders being built up yet once again to lose to whoever is the tag team champions, which is going to be, which is right now RK Bro and Riddle. And they need a viable heel team to go against that's not a tweener team. What is the Viking Raiders going to be, that tweener team where they're going to be, good or bad? Are they just like fan favorites or whatever? Come on, I mean, do something with them. Have some better writing for these talented. Build up your tag division where it's actually watchable instead of predictable. This is just my thoughts. We had Doudrop before her match even started attack Eva Marie. It wasn't very much of a babyface move. Again, Eva Marie, why is she in the ring? She's terrible. It was absolutely just atrocious. Why? I mean, have Eva Marie. Eva Marie is such a prima donna, or she's injured, or whatever. Who cares? She can't compete. Eva Marie definitely needs somebody with her. And because she is not talented enough to carry a match by herself. She needs interference. I mean, have somebody else. There's plenty of talented women that need the spotlight. Have another talented, have something, have someone else, have someone there for Eva Marie to have as her quote unquote minion. And where Doudrop is going to have to go through people to be able to get to Eva Marie. If they really want to do something, have Eva Marie, as like the leader of a viable faction, and that viable faction is the tag team, as the quote-unquote tag team champions, and have Doudrop, have to go through the radius instead of wasting Nikki Ash, coming out with Ria Ripley. Have Nikki Ash get involved now in the tag team. If you're not going to have her in the main event, have her in a tag team program with Doudrop, which those two would probably really have some chemistry together, and have them go through, a faction of what Eva Marie has. And finally, we get Eva Marie in the ring. Doudrop finally gets her hands on Eva Marie. You don't play Doudrop off as some heel that, is going to, simply attack somebody before the match or before the bell. That's just, it's poor booking decision and terrible writing, and it doesn't help any of the people that is involved. And Eva Marie doesn't need to be, she is very limited in the ring what she can do. Okay, but she is eye candy. Let's be honest. That's the only reason why Vince McMahon is having her around. And if they're going to use her, then go with my suggestion there, and actually build somebody up. Like the women's division, like I said, needs to be interchangeable between Raw and between SmackDown. And that's just my thoughts. Next, I'm going to go over Karrion Kross versus Humberto Carrillo. And, I just don't like the way Karrion Kross is being portrayed, and I doubt very many fans do. Number one, his wife is not with him, and she was a valet, and they fit together perfectly. Triple H's vision for Karrion Kross was perfect. His finisher, he doesn't need that finisher. That's Samoa Joe's. How many rear naked chokes or how many modified Taz missions or whatever does a person need? He needs to have his finisher needs to be dramatic, like devastating. And just a submission like this is, just a reinventing the wheel off of like Samoa Joe, reinventing the wheel off of Shayna Basler, and it's just dramatic. If you want to do some of the submission, so nobody is using the camel clutch. Have him use the camel clutch as his finisher. It would be amazing, if he would do that. The devastating move, the camel clutch, a modified camel clutch. Miro's not in the WWE anymore. Rusev's not in the WWE anymore. So let him do that. Let him be that guy. And because it is just a carbon copy of everybody else. And him being dressed up like He-Man, come on. Really? I can see it a little bit. If I was looking at Karrion Kross, I can sort of get the vibe from him coming out in that Mad Max type of Beyond the Thunderdome type warrior type person. Yeah, I can get that. And maybe that's what they're going for. But he needs his wife beside him. They changed his entrance music, which is crap now. And I can understand going through these different people like Humberto Carrillo to get wins. That's fine. But change him back to what Triple H had envisioned for him. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. And then we're going to go with almost defeated John Morrison in a pinfall. It was just like a squash match for John Morrison. Here is one of the most talented wrestlers on the planet. AAA champion. The Lucha Underground champion. Former world champions all around. Very talented guy. I mean, even though his movies are corny, I mean, still yet he is, just really, I mean, it's not there, and I guess they're going to build up this contention between him and The Miz. I don't think we're not to that point yet. I mean, say that for WrestleMania. I mean, we're not to that point yet. It's like John Morrison is stuck in the mid-card of evil. I know he's stuck in the mid-card of mediocrity. His wife is in NXT, which I have no idea what Vince McMahon is going to do with her. I mean, she is one of the most talented personalities that has been in professional wrestling through AAA, Impact Wrestling, and here they've reduced her to, NXT. She would be better served to be on the main roster. She definitely has the persona to be that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she's in her 30s, I think. And how long is the new auspices of Vince McMahon's brainchild NXT now going to have room for her there? Don't know. She doesn't need, hardly any of the training that other people can get. She is very talented. She needs to be on the main roster. She needs to be with her husband. And that's the way I think about that. But almost, a squash match against John Morrison. They're continually to feed John Morrison. They're splitting, I guess, AJ Styles and Almost. Almost is the Great Khali 2.0. And that's the truth. Limited in what he can do in the ring. He's not athletic. He's big. He's huge. That's the reason why Vince McMahon loves him. But he's either going to be just another guy that he's going to feed to Roman Reigns or something else like that. And, who knows what is going to happen there. And, I doubt that there's going to be any sort of program here with John Morrison. I mean, and they're just going to squash him every other week, every week. And that's the way I feel about that. AJ Styles defeated Xavier Woods via submission. Don't care. Why isn't AJ Styles in the main event? Why isn't he in a program with Bobby Lashley instead of rehashing something possibly with Randy Orton? Come on. I mean, AJ Styles belongs in the top spot. He doesn't have very many more years in the WWE. He's going to be graduating probably to the back as a producer. So, yeah, I mean, why not utilize your talent instead of just letting them be in the mid-card of mediocrity? And that's just horrible. So now, let's get to really, if they was going to do this match, they should have done this at the end. Reportedly, and I put those in quotation marks, okay? There was an agreement between Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax to do a shoot match. Why? I do not know. To me, Nia Jax is not the person you want to do a shoot match with, because guess what? She has a track record of hurting people. Number 2, you don't put your top women's star in a shoot match with Nia Jax. If you check out Jim Cornette's commentary on this on YouTube, I suggest you do that, because I agree with him 100% on this. You know, Nia Jax, and, you know, I think it's, number one, I think it's great that a woman of her size is in this spot. But it seems, because, and as saying this, it is great, you know, talented women like Dewdrop, which is such a negative connotation, so disrespectful to Pepper Pfeiffer. I mean, it is so disrespectful. But she's tremendously talented, and apparently Nia Jax was uncooperative, and you know, and she has not improved over all the years Nia Jax has been there. And let's be honest, okay? The only reason why Nia Jax is still there is because she is a niece, is because she's related to The Rock, okay? That's, you know, you can send the hate mail my way, I don't care. That's the only reason why she's there. And, you know, that's fine to hold on to that spot. And it is tremendous that a woman of color is being featured in the WWE instead of not be given the time of day, like, you know, a lot of, because that's been happening with some others, women that is in the WWE. But, and, you know, this is the way that Vince McMahon views things. He doesn't look at the talent. He's still stuck to these archaic ideas. And how the hell that he approves this, we'll never know. Because it wasn't a shoot match. You know, it was miscommunication, uncooperative, lack of talent on Nia Jax's part, and it was frustration on Charlotte Flair's part for her to react the way that she did, because there's a track record of her reacting the way that she did in the past to other talent by slapping them, literally slapping them in the ring. And, you know, I hope that they don't treat Charlotte Flair and let her contract expire by beating her again, which there's a possibility that they beat her next week. And again, how many times champion that she is doesn't matter unless you have quality championship runs, in my opinion. But Nia Jax completely squashed Charlotte Flair, and it was very slow. At one point, Nia Jax just flat out dropped Charlotte Flair on her head, and I was like, oh my gosh, seriously, how unsafe is this? I mean, you expect this for somebody that's a rookie, but not for somebody that is a veteran in the ring. And it was just completely awful and uncalled for. I don't know, or if, you know, she has listened to talent or to the producers or not, or if anybody needs to go back to NXT and train, it's Nia Jax. You know, it's, you know, her, she needs to be in the WWE, I'll say that. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be in the WWE. I'm glad that she has that spot. I'm glad that she has that spot of importance in the WWE. I'm glad that they present her as this monster heel, and they don't present her, and they haven't, completely flattened her like they have other talent that is in the ring. I couldn't think, like Naomi. I mean, and I don't understand why Naomi is going through the absurd things what she's going through, and why they're giving her that. She should be in the tag team picture, and she should be tag champion with a talented partner, and we have Bianca Belair. Thank goodness. She got squashed, and now she went back, had a great role, great showing as far as promo there. Don't know, we still don't know where. We still don't know where. Can't think of her name. Sasha Banks is. Sorry, you have to give me a second. It's a possibility that just Sasha Banks tested positive for COVID, and that's the reason why for her absence. WWE cannot say that she tested positive for COVID because it violates HIPAA rules. Therefore, they come up with an excuse, just like on the main card, of coming up with, she is coming up with the main card on with Pac, with the AEW, because they cannot violate HIPAA rules, so they say that people aren't there. So that's fine. If that's the case, that's fine. Yes, Sasha Banks should be in the mix of the title picture. She's one of the attractions for the women's division. Charlotte Flair is one of the attractions for the women's division. So that's just the way I think. I mean, the women's division, if it was booked correctly, is much stronger than the men's. I think there needs to be one women's title and a mid-card title. And now Becky Lynch is back, who knows? She puts Raw's, she puts the SmackDown's Women's Championship back as a preeminent title. And because right now, she hasn't been featured as much because she's been gone. How can you, just like and I believe this in the Jim Cornette sayings, and I borrow from him. I don't know him, and he probably thinks I'm an idiot, which I probably am. But how can you miss me unless I go away? And that was the reason why the territory system worked so well. And if Triple H would have been given the chance, we would have had a territory system again. But that's not the way that the boss, Vince McMahon, views things. He wants, he views Triple H has developed all this talent. They go to the main roster, and Vince McMahon don't use them. And anyway, that's just the way that it is, and it's not Triple H's fault because he has built some preeminent stars. It's just that Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon and now Bruce Pritchard don't know how to utilize them, and that's the truth. So the women's division is the must-see attraction, I think, for the WWE. And other than a couple of the men's roles and stars that's there on SmackDown, they have a lot better drawing power right now on SmackDown. And maybe they have some stars in October that'll go over to Raw, which they need to. And I imagine, the USA Network, who is owned by the parent company NBC, wants some more star power for the WWE on Monday Night Raw, so they can start getting some better ratings. But anyway, that was Monday Night Raw. I will say that we want to go ahead and talk about Smackdown. It was a decent show. I don't understand. Number one, again, they put some of the things. Ricky Bowles defeated Dolph Ziggler. Why? I don't know. We had Seth Rollins again, and we have Cesaro going back to the mid-card of mediocrity. Because Seth Rollins defeated him and is trying to impersonated Edge. They're continuing this program with Edge and Seth Rollins, and they are going to play it out as long as they can, and they'll probably have a WrestleMania match, which that's fine with me, but I think that they need to sort of take a break and do something different with the both of them. I think it would be good for Shinsuke Nakamura to get into a feud with Seth Rollins. That's just my thoughts. And for, Edge is a prominent babyface. Hey, he could really elevate Cesaro and really give Cesaro, really help, finally, get Cesaro to the point to where he needs to be. We had Baron Corbin and Logan Paul come out on the Seth Rollins show. Why Logan Paul? I mean, come on. Yes, Logan Paul's in a heel mode, but really, who cares about Logan Paul? I don't think that he's going to turn any heads in a WWE. He's just there for a payday, and, just a fan. So, whatever. We had the Street Profits defeat the Usos via disqualification we had so many disqualifications here on the main card that it was, this one, it was, kind of overkilled. I think that really what you have to do is you only have to have one, per show. Too much. We had interesting drama that continues to build with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, and then his interactions with Roman Reigns, which it is a good storyline. It was, and I wanted to get to this point. It was said that by Kurt Angle this week that Brock Lesnar diffused some of the hype that CM Punk's return with AEW had caused by him returning. No, it don't. The difference between CM Punk and Brock Lesnar is CM Punk's going to be there. He's putting his heart in that. Brock Lesnar don't care. He's just there for the paycheck. And he's probably there for Roman Reigns to be fed to. And no, you don't do that. That's just terrible. And we have Sami Zayn defeat Dominic Mysterio. Again, his father was involved in that. They're building towards a program between Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. Whatever. I guess people are interested in that. I don't know. I know I'm not. And it's just, and then we get to the main event. Finn Balor, he hit a coup de grace on Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns kicked out on free TV. That's just terrible. I mean, it was an entertaining match, yes. The Usos beat up Finn Balor before the match. That's fine. I don't want to see maybe the title switch hands. You do something there. Do you pin Finn Balor via, and then you get the music of, the Finn Balor's other persona, the Demon. It's like, whatever. It's too scripted there, and it's not, there's nothing natural there. I don't think they're in that transition. If we continue this program with Finn Balor and Roman Reigns, Finn Balor and the Demon, and then it's all leading to Brock Lesnar. I mean, Brock Lesnar is not going to be, and it would be a waste for Brock Lesnar to be at Extreme Rules, really. And I don't think you do that. There's plenty to choose from. Roman Reigns is the biggest star in the WWE. They've built him really well. Since this is probably one of the best, it'll probably go down as one of the best runs in the WWE in WWE history. Let's be honest, it will. And they have a great faction there. And what do we do? What do we, where does this end with Roman Reigns? Do we feed Roman Reigns to Brock Lesnar? Brock Lesnar is not going to come there to do a job for Roman Reigns, and evidently that is where they're headed. And so, you don't end this run with Brock Lesnar with the championship. Automatically, CM Punk, he doesn't start off on the championship, running for the championship. CM Punk starts with trying to build up one of the young guys. And you have to take kudos for CM Punk doing things the right way, right? CM Punk needs some controversy to shine, I think, because that's where he shines the best. He shines the best when the system is against him, and the world is against him, and CM Punk is the anti-hero. That's his character, and he needs to be that way. This all lovey-dovey stuff with, everything needs to kind of end. Maybe it ends. Maybe it starts with CM Punk turning heel, getting the boos. Completely destroying Darby Allin, cheating. Are they setting that up for, All Out pay-per-view? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, you don't trust the WWE. And I'm going to get to some of the WWE news, and probably one of the most pressing issues in the WWE was, the new logo, and I'm sure it's been out a week or so, but I'm going to talk about it now. The new logo of NXT. And apparently, Kevin Dunn's the one that chose it. And it's rainbow colored, like a 70s vibe. It is atrocious. Totally changing the landscape of NXT. In 6 months, I doubt that anybody is there that has become the NXT stable guys. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, arguably some of the staples of NXT that Triple H has there. Guys that he can plug into the championship picture. And we're going to get a new championship belt. Because whoever comes into... They make the NXT champion and don't know who that's going to be. But they're going to totally revamp the whole thing. Triple H has to get every approval from, corporate now on the running of NXT. It's new logo, new set, new everything. We're going to go back to the OVW days. Not to mention they got rid of some of probably the best talent that you could have there to build up into main stars. It doesn't take that much with the WWE system to get behind somebody to build them up into a main star. It just takes, somebody that's there. I mean, really. So this is what we're going to get, I mean, if I was Triple H. How... you have to realize, and something that nobody is talking about, really, Triple H has to really swallow, one of Vince McMahon's famous sayings is, and hearing this on the Bruce Pritchard show, or something to wrestle with, which I don't listen to anymore. But he said that Vince McMahon's one of his famous sayings is you have to learn how to eat shit and like it. And Triple H was blamed for losing the Tuesday Night Wars to AEW. Unfair on his part. Definitely unfair on his part. They want to go back to the OVW format, number one. If they're going to go back to the OVW format, if you can go back and you can listen to the archives of the Jim Cornette show on this, and I'm borrowing from what I remember he said. If I misquote anything, I'm sorry. OVW was in a limited market in Florida. It wasn't nationally broadcast. It was broadcast on a local channel, I believe. And guys learned how to be on TV. But they were guys and girls that were new to the landscape of pro wrestling. They were being trained. And you're asking that format to be on a live broadcast where people are going to make mistakes. I mean, if they made a mistake back in OVW, it was okay because they wasn't on. They was there to learn, and it's a complete misstep. Triple H, if he would have been allowed to do what he would have done, would definitely have built a territory system again. He had already started to do that. The next phase was to launch NXT Japan, and we got this week the news in the WWE that NXT Japan was no more. 100 employees lost their job, and the WWE has no plans of expansion in Japan, in the Japanese market. I would not be surprised that if eventually the NXT doesn't close down its doors in the UK. I'm not saying this is per se, but this is just the way I look at it. And you got a guy there in NXT, and I'm not talking about Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe's a transitional champion. It's been rumors that Samoa Joe wants to go back to announce this because he's in his 40s, man. You tell you when I know from this fact, you get in your 40s, you feel a little bit different in the mornings than you do in your 20s and your 30s. But you got a guy there that is tremendous star. if you can get him to go, and that's Walter. And I mean, I can see Walter and hear his chant at WrestleMania if Vince McMahon doesn't totally screw that up. If Walter has really specific contract, I believe, and if he's going to go to NXT, I mean, he's the obvious choice as the champion, right? But that was back during, the Triple H era, and we don't have the Triple H era anymore. NXT was unique. It was hip. It appealed to the indie crowd, but still yet it was a WWE, and it was going to be a viable third brand, which it should have been, and should have been featured at WrestleMania, and was part of WrestleMania weekend, really. And now what is it going to be done? Is it going to be relegated to nothing? Yeah. I mean, do you trust Bruce Pritchard? Do you trust, which, he knows his stuff, but still yet, do you trust Bruce Pritchard? And we've seen what his creative is right now. I mean, his run on Raw and Smackdown, he's just a yes man for Vince McMahon, of course. And we have Vince McMahon, and we have Kevin Dunn, with the guiding hand over Triple H. You don't need a guiding hand. And Shawn Michaels and William Regal. This is a marriage that is not going to last very long, I don't think. I think Shawn Michaels is, after his contract's up, he's gone. William Regal, after his contract up, he's gone. Triple H, he's sort of married into the McMahon family. And but I'd like to see Triple H just leave the WWE and start his own wrestling promotion. And it would definitely be successful if he did. But that's probably not going to happen. That would be interesting if it did. But these are my thoughts on this subject matter here with the WWE. That pretty much covers the WWE notes. The AEW shows, they were decent, just typical AEW shows. I want to point out the FTR and the FTR match with Homicide and Suicide with FTR versus Santana and Ortiz. Again, continuing their feud. FTR seems to be lost. I mean, really, they really seem to be lost right now with AEW. CM Punk is keeping the momentum going, and knowing, maybe I may be wrong, but no, I would not be surprised if we don't see at the pay-per-view. This is my prediction for the pay-per-view, that we see a CM Punk heel turn. Because he's CM Punk, right? The best in the world. And who do we have also debuting reportedly at All Out? We have Darby Allin. We've seen CM Punk a little bit in action because these guys, Garcia and 2.0, hit the ring and tried to beat down CM Punk, but it didn't work. Tried to beat down Darby Allin or whatever. Same difference. And then we had a moment with Sting addressing CM Punk and all this stuff. I think folks, we are going to see a heel turn on CM Punk. Might be wrong. And we see Orange Cassidy and Jack Evans match was kind of weird. It was really, it ended during the commercial break. It was really not well planned out. We have the build up to we have the build up to the Jericho and MJF match, which, you know, really is kind of lost its luster because of the CM Punk arrival, to be honest. And you know, if I know that they have this program, it'd have been nice if CM Punk got involved with that some way. I mean, Darby Allin, I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that like Darby Allin. Whatever. We still have Brian Cage in a feud with let me think. With Team Taz, Brian Page versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I suppose what we're going to have at All Out is we're going to have Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks. I mean, I'm glad to see Ricky Starks. He was in the NWA, and I'm glad to see that. I mean, you have sort of another element there. I mean, it's a sort of, I guess, a TV title type belt that is there, which is okay, I guess. You know, we had the Elite versus the Lucha Brothers and Jurassic Park Express in a steel cage. I just, you know, that was supposed to be our main event for Dynamite. The Elite won. And, you know, at least, you know, I mean, and then we're looking for Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega at All Out. You know, I guess it's okay. I'm not just into that. Christian Cage just get appointed. Does Kenny Omega need to lose? No. You know, it really, we have, you know, I mean, in a steel cage match, I guess. It was okay. It wasn't, I'm just not really into that too much. And then on Rampage, you know, we have, I was only not even going to get into we have different things going on Rampage. We have the build of Brock Anderson, Arn Anderson's son, which is interesting. We have Malachi Black there in a storyline with him. You know, interesting. You know, we have, you know, then we had Dustin Rhodes, you know, run off Malachi Black. I guess going to be setting up a program at All Out. I don't know. We had Eddie Kingston lay out Miro. I just don't understand that. You know, he's really popular with I mean, he had, you know, do something to, you know, to save Miro, knock him out with a chain or something like that. Just not motivated to see that. You know, at least they got programs going on with these people. But let's be really honest. The epicenter of the wrestling world revolves around CM Punk right now. And what happens at All Out. If there's a confrontation between him and Bryan Danielson, which, hey, I'm all for that. I'm so glad that we got all this pro wrestling. It's really a lot to cover in the big, huge landscape of things. I not even got into some of the stuff going on at Impact. Haven't been able to check that out. Been busy. I didn't know that at the last NWA event, in the NWA 73, had Ric Flair was there. Gave a emotional speech thanking everybody, and yes, he should have been there, which made sense, him being there. And I'm glad that the WWE released him so that he can do something like that, and he's going to be, no doubt, at AEW soon. He may be at AEW for All Out. The first one, Andrade Almas, Pac pulled out of that. He had to, because of, quote, travel restrictions, which probably Pac, as I said before, has COVID. We don't know. We won't know because of HIPAA rules. And then we had, we'll probably have his mystery opponent is probably going to be Bryan Danielson, which will get a huge pop. But what we want is we want the Bryan Danielson, and we want CM Punk. We want to get to that match. CM Punk, I would like for him to turn heel, and for Bryan Danielson to confront him. And they don't have those two. They don't have to have the AEW title. They don't have to face Kenny Omega. Those matches are down the road. Christian Cage it seems like he's been revitalized for his career, and he's coming to his own after being out of pro wrestling for so long. It definitely feels that he does belong, and he will only elevate Impact Wrestling, which he is doing. And the only thing we're missing in AEW right now, as we have all of these different people going to come, is number one, we really need another tag title. We need some sort of intercontinental title. To be honest, we do. And we need to keep them separate. One to be on Dynamite, one the AEW champion on Dynamite, the Intercontinental champion to be on. They couldn't call it, I guess, the Intercontinental. They can call it the International champion. For them to be on Rampage, and that's kind of what we need. And we need another tag title also, because they really got a like something like a U.S. tag title or something like that. Bring that back or something. A news and notes from what did happen, as I said, from NWA, I guess, that the Real World's champion, which I guess he's going to go on and move on to better things. I don't know. Don't know if he's still in the NWA, but Nick Aldis lost the NWA champion to none other, and I have to laugh, none other than Trevor Murdoch. Yeah, and that is your NWA World Heavyweight Champion right now. And Trevor Murdoch, he's a big old boy. I don't know if he is the face of the NWA that you want going forward, though. I guess Nick Aldis needed a break, because Nick Aldis, he's the champion that you need going forward. He is the Nick Bockwinkel of this era of wrestling, of professional wrestling. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up pro wrestling, the pro wrestling news. This is my thoughts on everything going on in pro wrestling. I hope that you enjoyed this program. Went on for an hour here now talking about all these different things for the week. I'm sure I missed some things. I'm sure I've offended some people. I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I guess next week we get another Nia Jax Charlotte Flair match. I would not be surprised if Nia Jax does not squash Charlotte Flair. Let me let that sink in for a little bit. I would not be surprised if Nia Jax squashes Charlotte Flair on this next Monday Night Raw. That's my prediction for Monday Night Raw. And, more power to her. She just needs to get better in the ring. And after so long, you gotta do things better. And I'm sure they told her to go out there and, like someone said, I think it was on the Wrestling Observer Radio, Brian Alvarez said that somebody told her to go out there and show forth to be a monster, no sell stuff and all this stuff like this. It just looked terrible. There's a way to do things and a way not to do things. And I like her persona, I like her character, but dropping somebody on their head is not professional wrestling. That was just terrible, and I can guarantee you that in the back, Charlotte Flair just was livid. Who knows? They all settled it out and they did the program in the ring, but you got to do better. Let's strive to do better, and anyway, we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.